April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and an Eden Prairie father has made it his mission to educate people about the problem.
Vijay Dixit's daughter, Shreya Dixit, died in 2007 while riding home with a friend from college. The driver turned to grab something from the back seat and crashed. Since his daughter's death, Vijay has turned his family's grief into action by establishing a foundation in his daughter's name. You may remember the annual walk held every year to raise awareness. Well, now Vijay has written a book about his experiences. It's called One Split Second, The Distracted Driving Epidemic, How It Kills and How We Can Fix It. We're so glad to have author Vijay Dixit joining us now. Thanks so much for coming in, Vijay. We
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much. Thank you very much for inviting me.
You know, why don't we start by having you tell us a little bit about your daughter. What kind of person was she?
Well, let me tell you, just like Asmi was mentioning that her teenage son, Shreya, was a teenager. She was 19 years old, but long-term, long life, that was 19 years in her case, was filled with volunteerism. Mm-hmm. She volunteered at Mary's Home and other places. And then, of course, she volunteered in her passing too. She was a donor. And now she continues to volunteer for us, guiding me through this to provide me the content for this book.
Sure.
And that is a big volunteering.
So with this book, what's the message that you're trying to share?
Something that I would like to say right in the beginning is it's a shared responsibility. It is not something that is just dependent on me, you, or you, but it is something that all of us have to be aware of and be responsible for it.
As drivers, as passengers?
Both, drivers and passengers. And also, I want to convey this message to everyone that it is not a privilege. You don't own the road, but you have to be responsible as well. And the responsibility is only 50%, or control is only 50%.
Sure.
Other 50% belongs to people around us.
Yeah. Your daughter had no control over what happened to her.
No, she was just a passenger. She was not even driving. And so what we need to do is make sure that you are responsible, but at the same time make sure that others around you are responsible.
I will say one of the most fascinating things about our current epidemic of distracted driving
Absolutely.
is that people overwhelmingly understand that what they're doing is distracting them, yet they continue to do it. And I find that to be a real challenge for getting people to change their behavior.
Yes, and I believe, although they know that they exactly think that way, but another inhibition that they have, or misconception they have, that it'll never happen to them.
Right. You have this false confidence.
Very false, false confidence about you. Oh, I'm a great driver, so nothing will happen to it. As I mentioned earlier, 50% of it belongs to you.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's an addiction for some people just to constantly do something else while they're driving. What do you think can be done to get people away from that sort of behavior?
Just to tell them what is it that you are doing, and it is not worth it. Senator Klobuchar mentioned that no texting is worth your life.
Well, certainly what you're doing after the loss of your daughter, I think, is inspiring, and hopefully this book can make a difference out there.
Sure, and this book actually was published by a local publisher, Calumet Editions in Chanhassen.
Very good.
And also it's available online as an ebook as well as on Amazon.
Well, Vijay, thank you so much. The book is called One Split Second, Vijay Dixit. Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Sure. May I say one more thing?
Go ahead, sure.
Senator Klobuchar was very kind to have written the foreword for it.
Very good.
Very nice.
And she called it some kind of a action. This is the action. It is a call for action.
Call for action. Very good. All right, Vijay, thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing me.